America wanted to take over another Spanish territory, the Philippines, because of the Spanish-American War. American imperialism was not worth the cost of colonizing the Philippines. Filipinos just wanted independence, and we did not give that to them. The U.S. betrayed them, harming their culture and people forever. American imperialism has been evident for a long time and it's still evident today. Imperialism is when a larger country takes over a weaker one. America always wants economic growth. America used other countries' economical growth all the time. Although many Americans agreed with imperialism, some did not, and they created the Anti-Imperialism League. The U.S. was expanding to many places, including the Philippines. Before the expansion of the Philippines, Spain and America were fighting in Cuba. This was called the Spanish-American War in 1898. The war started in Cuba because an American battleship, the Maine, that was in Havana Harbor got attacked. The Americans immediately blamed the attack on Spain with no evidence and went to Cuba. At the time, Spain was ruling Cuba and the rebels wanted independence. America's motive was to get revenge on Spain and eventually rule Cuba. The feeling of wanting revenge on Spain was strongly encouraged by yellow journalism. Yellow journalism were newspaper articles that aren't really true. They make stories seem more appealing to the public. In America, another source they got information from was the book Influence of Sea Power Upon History. This book advocated for a stronger military.
That was written by a dude, Alfred Thayer Mahan. Okay, that was one of the questions that we've seen on one of the release tests we've done so far. Alfred Thayer Mahan wrote a book called The Influence of Sea Power Upon History, okay? So, he's a naval guy, just remember that.
This book advocated for a stronger military. The Boxer Rebellion was happening in China, meaning separate parts of it was being fought over by different countries. Of course, America felt like it was their God-given right to expand, otherwise known as Manifest Destiny. The Americans...
That's wrong. Manifest Destiny referring to just North America, from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean. Okay? It never had to do with spreading its empire to other continents. Okay? So this young lady's incorrect. She should be slapped.
That the Philippines was anti-Spain, so they thought, why not help them? They knew if they worked together, they could defeat Spain. Plus, the Philippines and Hawaii were necessary stops to China. The Americans and Philippines together beat Spain, which was great, but the Americans didn't leave, and they practically took over the Philippines. The Battle of Manila Bay was one of the many battles in the Spanish-American War that happened in the Philippines. Commander George Dewey helped achieve naval victory over the Spanish troops in the waters west of Manila on May 1, 1898. Another term for a country taking over a weaker country is called annexation. To show that they annexed Hawaii, Cuba, Philippines, Guam, and more, President Theodore Roosevelt led 16 strong battleships around the world to demonstrate U.S. naval power. This was known as the Great White Fleet. Theodore Roosevelt was the President of the United States from 1901 to 1909. This was after they annexed countries. The Philippines was the protector of the U.S., meaning it was completely in control by the Americans. The U.S. assimilated the Philippines, forcing them to be like the U.S. Missionaries helped influence them. They strongly influenced them religiously.
So, the Filipinos were rising up against the Spanish. We are on their side. We defeat the Spanish, and then we take over the Filipinos. Okay? America.
The Philippines had just fought Spain for their independence, and now America, the country they thought was on their side, wouldn't give them their independence. This made the Filipino people very angry. Emilio Aguinaldo was the leader of the Philippines. He led the people to rebel against the Americans. In doing this, the people of the Philippines did not let Americans into the capital, Manila. Americans were annoyed with this, as you can imagine, and they just helped the Philippines fight Spain. It was a right to rule the Philippines. So William W. Grayson, an American soldier, shot a Filipino soldier. This news got back to Emilio Aguinaldo, and he declared war on America. Emilio used guerrilla tactics to fight America.
Okay, so an American soldier kills a Filipino. That dude Emilio Aguinaldo is the leader of the rebellion of the Filipino resistance against the Americans. He declares war on the United States, and like she said that they use guerrilla warfare. She's gonna explain it wrong. Guerrilla warfare is unconventional warfare, doing whatever you have to do in order to defeat a stronger, bigger, more powerful force. Okay, that's guerrilla warfare.
Tactics were a smart move for Emilio to use because they were the weaker force. Guerrilla tactics is using the element of surprise and tricking the troops. To clear things up, the Philippines did not gain their independence from America until the late 1940s. In conclusion, the Spanish-American War impacted America socially, economically, militarily, and politically. Socially, it made them feel like they deserved more land. Economically, it brought them more money because they have more trade in goods with the Philippines and other countries.
Definitely, they have access to Chinese markets. China's the biggest, most populous country in the world, and so economically, that was the main reason. That's the main reason for imperialism in the first place. Okay, and then so that's good on that one. Let's go ahead and stop right there.